10. Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Truth or Consequences, or as locals casually call it, T or C, might be the strangest name on this list, and that's just the beginning. Tucked away in southern New Mexico, this quirky desert town once renamed itself after a radio game show. But here's the kicker. It's not just the name that feels out of place. The entire vibe is like walking through a sun-soaked dream that never ended. The cost of living, just about 22% lower than the national average. Rent for a modest apartment hovers around $650 to $750 a month. That's not bad when you're working with a fixed income. Even better, the state of New Mexico doesn't tax Social Security income. Yes, that's right. And retirees can also qualify for low-income property tax rebates, making your dollar stretch like it's made of rubber. But here's the real charm: the hot springs. T or C sits on a network of geothermal mineral baths. $10 and you're soaking in a natural spa, steam curling into the desert sky while your joints remember what it felt like to be 40 again. That's the vibe here. A little weird, undeniably warm, and surprisingly peaceful. Some say it's like retiring inside a slightly warped postcard. The heat? Let's just say it's not for the faint of flip-flops. Summers come in hot, not warm, not beachy. We're talking melt your sandals and cook an egg on your driveway levels. And the wind? Less breeze, more exfoliation by desert sand. Still, this is one of those places that shouldn't work, but does. A town with a name that makes people pause, and a lifestyle that lets seniors breathe easy. Retirees here seem to have found a glitch in the system, stretching that Social Security check into something that actually feels like security. 9. Pineville, Kentucky. Now picture a small Appalachian town where a 200-ton boulder literally hovers above the town. No, seriously, it's called chained rock, and it's exactly what it sounds like, a giant rock chained to the mountain, allegedly to protect the town from being crushed if gravity ever decides to rebel. Welcome to Pineville, Kentucky. This is small-town America at its most dramatic and oddly comforting. Rent ranges from $500 to $650 a month, and the cost of living is nearly 30% below the national average. And yes, Kentucky also skips the state tax on Social Security. For homeowners over 65, the state offers a generous homestead exemption, slicing over $46,000 off the taxable value of your home. And if you thought the benefits stopped there, think again. There's utility assistance, food programs, and Medicaid access that might shock you in a good way. Living here feels like stepping into a slower timeline, where everyone knows your name, probably knows your aunt, and definitely knows your dog. The crime rate? Surprisingly low. Except for the occasional deer-related traffic accident or minor meth drama, it's quiet. And honestly, that's what people come here for. Mornings in Pineville mean rocking chairs, misty mountain views, and quiet coffee. The local gossip spreads faster than Wi-Fi, and if you flirt with someone at the diner, there's a small chance you're cousins, so maybe ask first. It's humid, yes. Summers in Kentucky are like stepping into a soup bowl, clingy, sticky, and just a little dramatic. But if that doesn't scare you off, Pineville offers a kind of stability that feels geological, literally. When a town lives under a rock and calls it a feature, you know it's got character. 8. Bonners Ferry, Idaho. Bonners Ferry, Idaho isn't just remote, it's where the wilderness starts to whisper back. Tucked near the Canadian border with a population that wouldn't fill a stadium section, this town is proof that retirement doesn't need a beach or a golf course to feel like paradise. Average rent runs about $650 a month, and the cost of living is 21% below national averages. And Idaho doesn't tax Social Security either, so your check goes a little further. In fact, they'll even toss retirees a grocery tax credit just for sticking around. This is the kind of town where the police log once featured a goat escape as headline news, where folks wave from porches not because they know you, but because it's just what you do. There's peace in that simplicity. Healthcare? Surprisingly solid for a rural area. And the air? Clean enough to bottle and sell, though no one here would, because they're too busy living the kind of quiet life most people dream about when stuck in traffic. Now, let's talk winter. It doesn't just snow here, it takes over. You'll need snow shovels, snow tires, and possibly a sled just to check the mail. But once you're bundled up, it's the kind of cold that feels earned. There's pride in surviving the season, and more importantly, knowing you can afford to. Bonner's Ferry doesn't have Uber or Whole Foods, but it does have silence, pine forests, and the kind of small-town charm that makes you forget why you ever paid $3,000 for rent in the city. 7. John Day, Oregon. John Day, Oregon, a town so quietly tucked away that it feels like Oregon's best-kept secret. Population, around 1,700. Vibe, vintage Western minus the tumbleweeds. But the real story is how far your dollar stretches here. Rent averages between $600 and $750, and the cost of living is about 25% under the national line. There's no state sales tax, and if you're a senior with a limited income, you might even qualify for Oregon's tax deferral programs. That means you don't have to pay property taxes until you're long gone, and possibly not even then. Healthcare access is solid too, thanks to the local hospital district that doesn't care how much is in your wallet, just whether your blood pressure is trying to send an SOS. But here's the oddest perk: you can literally walk through history. John Day is surrounded by fossil beds, real ones. Take a morning stroll through prehistory, then swing by the diner for pie. No lines, no influencers, just serenity. Of course, it's not all rustic charm. The internet is slow, like buffering as a lifestyle choice, kind of slow. Want vegan cheese or sushi? You'll be explaining that to someone named Carl, and he's not going to be impressed. This is a place where streaming Netflix might require a prayer and a wind turbine. But that's the beauty of John Day. It's not trying to impress you, it's just here, doing its quiet thing, and offering retirees a place where life is affordable, peaceful, and deliciously unplugged. 6. Cumberland, Maryland. Cumberland feels like a Civil War ghost town that never got the memo to modernize. And that's exactly what makes it magical. It sits in the Appalachians, wrapped in history and fog, with a downtown that looks like it was built for a movie and left behind when filming wrapped. Rent sits around $730 per month, with a cost of living nearly 27% below the national average. And Maryland? Well, it's surprisingly friendly to seniors. There are generous property tax credits, pension exclusions, and yes, no tax on Social Security. Healthcare is surprisingly robust for a town this size. The local system punches well above its weight. And if your biggest fear in retirement is medical bills, this place offers a soft landing. But here's what you're really buying: silence. There's no Starbucks, no bustling mall, and probably no one under 30 who isn't just passing through. Instead, there's a massive Dollar General, antique shops, historic train stations, and church dinners that will feed you and your soul. It's not perfect. The Wi-Fi doesn't always cooperate, and if you're craving nightlife, Cumberland might as well be a monastery. But for those looking to stretch a retirement check and find a little peace, it's hard to beat. Mornings bring rolling fog, birdsong, and coffee on a porch that predates cable television. 5. Bluefield, West Virginia. Bluefield calls itself nature's air-conditioned city. That's right, its main brag is the weather, which tells you a lot. High up in the mountains of southern West Virginia, Bluefield might be one of the last towns in America where Social Security doesn't just get you by, it gets you ahead. Rent? About $600. Cost of living? A solid 29% below average. And while West Virginia once taxed Social Security, that's being phased out. Combine that with affordable healthcare, and you've got a town that offers peace of mind along with your morning biscuit. It's quiet, sure, maybe too quiet for some, but what you give up in big city amenities, you gain in charm, community, and enough porch space to finally write that memoir or yell at passing clouds, your call. Crime is low, the vibe is small-town cozy, and the streets are lined with folks who still wave at strangers. You won't find high-end restaurants or yoga studios on every corner, but you will find people who care. And sometimes that's more valuable than any tax break. Bluefield is for those who want to live simply, comfortably, and affordably, without feeling like they've given up the good life. You won't get sushi. You will get squirrel sightings and maybe a free hot dog with your haircut. 4, Presidio, Texas. Presidio isn't just off the beaten path, it's where the path ends and the desert begins. Sitting on the US-Mexico border in far west Texas, Presidio is remote in a way that feels almost cinematic. The nearest Walmart? 3 hours away. But when rent is under $600 a month, a little distance suddenly feels like a feature, not a flaw. Here's the thing, this town is for people who are done with noise. No HOA meetings, no city drama, no honking traffic. Just dusty roads, adobe homes, and sunrises that look like oil paintings. Rent lands around $580. Cost of living? Nearly 30% below the US average. Texas doesn't tax Social Security income, and the property tax freeze for seniors kicks in at 65, which means your expenses stay put, even if you don't. Presidio is one of those places where life slows down, not because you have to, but because you finally can. The post office closes early for siesta, and no one questions it. If Amazon Prime takes a week, so be it. Retirement here isn't about speed, it's about space. Space to breathe, to think, to live. The town doesn't offer much in the way of shopping or dining, but it does offer quiet mornings with sagebrush-scented air and the kind of solitude that makes you feel centered again. Retiring here means embracing simplicity, and that's not a sacrifice, it's freedom. 3. Mountain View, Arkansas. Deep in the Ozarks, Mountain View sings a different tune, literally. Known as the folk music capital of the world, this town isn't just a place to live. It's a place to sway to the rhythm of banjos on porches and fiddles in town squares. Rent runs around $575 a month. That's right, full-on mountain views and musical vibes for less than what many city folks pay for parking. The cost of living is about 27% below the US average. Arkansas doesn't tax Social Security, and property tax perks for seniors are generous, especially if you're over 65 and still remember how to bake a pie from scratch. But beyond the numbers, Mountain View has soul. It's a place where music flows more freely than traffic, and community matters more than convenience. Locals gather for weekly bluegrass jams, and neighbors are more likely to show up with a casserole than a complaint. Violent crime, a third of the national average. The biggest danger here might be the fried pies, which, let's be honest, are worth the risk. And while high-speed internet might lag, the town itself hums with an energy that makes buffering a background issue. You're not going to find sushi or Uber, but you will find mountains, music, and meaning. The kind of place where time slows down and smiles linger longer. Retirement in Mountain View isn't just affordable, it's joyful. 2. Ironwood, Michigan. Way up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, Ironwood is what happens when rugged meets reasonable. This town is remote enough to need snowshoes for survival, but cozy enough to feel like home after just one winter. Median rent? $600, home prices under $90,000. The cost of living is a cool 27% below the national average, and yes, Michigan doesn't tax Social Security. If you're a low-income senior, there are serious property tax breaks that keep your costs down, even when the snow stacks up. And speaking of snow, there's a lot of it, like more than Anchorage, but that's part of the charm. Winter here is an extreme sport, sure, but it also comes with woodsy views, frosty peace, and the kind of silence that soothes your soul. In Ironwood, the biggest complaint isn't crime or traffic, it's waiting for your car to thaw. The crime rate is low, the streets are friendly, and even when it's below zero, folks still wave hello. It's small-town warmth wrapped in a parka. And there's something comforting about that. A place where Social Security isn't just enough, it's more than enough. Steak on the grill, no debt, and neighbors who shovel your driveway just because they can. Ironwood isn't flashy, but it offers dignity, stability, and a surprising amount of charm, all while costing less than a studio apartment in a major city. That's not just a deal, that's a reset button. 1. Valentine, Nebraska. And now the #1 spot, Valentine, Nebraska. If there's one town on this list that truly lives up to the idea of affordable retirement without compromise, it's this little gem in the middle of the Great Plains. Population? just over $2,600. Rent, $550. Median home price, around $115,000. The cost of living, 25% below the national average. It's not a town trying to be something it's not. Valentine is quiet, unassuming, and yes, named after love itself. Taxes. Nebraska does tax Social Security, but Valentine offers local property tax relief programs and senior benefits that soften the blow, especially if you're living on a modest income. And here's what sets it apart. Life here is peaceful, affordable, and completely unplugged from the rat race. There's no Target, no Trader Joe's. The Dairy Queen is the nightlife, and it closes at 9 p.m. But if you can live without artisan kale and boutique fitness classes, you get something far better: space, safety, and community. This is the kind of place where your neighbor borrows your snowblower and returns it with homemade cookies, where deer tiptoe through your backyard like it's part of their commute, where silence isn't eerie, it's comforting. Valentine is a postcard from a simpler time, and it hasn't changed because it hasn't had to. If you're tired of the noise, the bills, the hustle, this might be your heartland escape. Here, $800 a month doesn't just keep you afloat, it gives you roots. If this video helped open your eyes to what's possible, don't just watch. Act, share it with someone who needs to know their options aren't limited to overpriced retirement communities and big city burnout. Smash that like button, hit subscribe for more deep dive guides like this, drop a comment. Which of these towns would you call home? Or did we miss a hidden gem?